Hey, my name is Cedric from Vertex Marketing Agency, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the Facebook attribution. My goal is that after watching this video, you'll know exactly what you should select when you're creating a conversion campaign in Ads Manager, and you won't be confused or worried when you see your results, or that could be your purchases or your leads showing up in Ads Manager, because you're going to have a good understanding on how those numbers are actually getting there. So I'm going to talk about like the classic attribution, like view attribution or click attribution, but I'm also going to be talking about conversion modeling, since I know there's a lot of questions regarding that specific topic. So with that being said, let's get into this week's content. So before I show you all the different window attribution that are available to you, I just want to quickly talk about what is tracking and how does tracking work, because it's really important for you to understand that. So right now we have browser and server-side tracking. And if you're using a platform like Shopify and using the native integration, Shopify takes care of all that for you. So they do both browser and server tracking. But the way that browser tracking works, it's a piece of JavaScript code that gets added to your website, and using that JavaScript code, it sends the information directly to your Facebook pixel. So then that's how Facebook can know who's visiting your website, and they knew who makes specific action on your website, like purchases or lead, because the pixel and the piece of JavaScript code takes care of sending the data back to Facebook. Now, sometimes you have ad blockers or potentially iOS 14, and they're kind of like interfering with that piece of JavaScript code. So this is why Facebook came up with the Facebook Conversion API, which is basically server-side tracking. So you're sending the information directly to Facebook server, and basically what your website makes is a post request, and data gets sent, like I said, directly to Facebook. But that means you are technically responsible for collecting the information about your users manually, and then you just add that information to the request. And like I said, it's a server-to-server connection. There's not much that can interfere with that request. And that's why server-side tracking is getting really, really popular these days. And Facebook really recommend that companies do both browser and server-side tracking. So hopefully this makes sense. So that's how the tracking works, but that's not why you're watching this video. You're watching this video to understand the attribution, but it's important that you understand the tracking and how Facebook receives the data, because it's with that data that Facebook does the attribution. So hopefully that makes sense. So let me actually go inside my ad account right now, and I am inside my demo campaign. And to change your attribution, it's actually done on the ad set level. So I'm just gonna edit my ad set. And one thing worth noting is that this is a conversion campaign, and I'm bringing users to my website. And the conversion event that I decided to optimize for in this demo is a purchase event. Now, it would be the same thing if you're optimizing for leads, or maybe you're optimizing for custom event, or I don't know, view content. Really, it doesn't matter. As long as you're bringing users to a website, the action is happening on your website. So it doesn't matter what your situation is in terms of the conversion event. What I'm explaining in this video will be relevant to you. So let me scroll all the way down, because this is where we can actually choose the attribution setting. Now, most of the time this will actually be hidden, so you need to click on show more options. Now, once you click on that, you're gonna see you have 4 different options. So let's talk about the first one, which is a 1-day click. So the way this works is if a user sees your ad and click on your ad, and then they go to your website, they actually have 24 hours to make a purchase or to potentially submit the form to become a lead. Again, that depends on your event that you're optimizing for. But if the condition is true, for example, if a user makes a purchase within 24 hours, there's a chance that that purchase will get attributed to my campaign. Now, there's a reason why I'm saying there's a chance, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Let me just go through the entire list here. Now, 7-day click, it's the same thing, but now the user have 7 days to potentially make a purchase. And if this is true, then Facebook might attribute that conversion to one of my campaigns or one of my ads. Now, what we have below is 1-day click or view. So now the user, if they click on my ad and make a purchase, then Facebook might attribute that sale to my campaigns. Or if ever they just view my ads, so like an impression, like a video view, if ever they do that but don't go to the website. So how would that work? Well, let's say someone looks at your ad, it's a video, they watch 3 seconds, they don't click the link, they just remember your company name, they go to your website and then make a purchase, let's say. Well, that will be a view, and the user has 24 hours to make that purchase for that view. And if that's true, then Facebook might attribute that sale inside your campaign. And then the last one is 7-day click or 1-day view. So if the user clicks on your ad, they have 7 days to make a purchase, or they have 1 day if they only view the ad and make a purchase, then Facebook might attribute that sale inside your campaign. Now, I keep saying that Facebook might be able to attribute that sales to one of your campaign or your ads. And there's actually a reason for that, because if the user said to the app, no, I don't want Facebook to track me, Well, Facebook is not really allowed to track that user. And if they do, they might risk to actually get kicked out of the App Store. So this is why they're actually using something called statistical modeling, or some people call it conversion modeling. And it's basically using data and AI to try to predict how many users are actually purchasing when they're viewing your ad. So whenever a user is on their feed, they're just scrolling, right, on Facebook or Instagram, Facebook can see exactly what video they watch and what ad they click on. But when a user leaves the platform and go to the website, this is kind of where Facebook lose some of that data, because if the user has opted out, it doesn't really matter if you're doing browser tracking or server-side tracking. Facebook can't really use that data. So this is why they're using conversion modeling. And what conversion modeling is that they're looking at the users that do allow tracking. So they look at all those users and they see exactly, okay, what age are they, what gender are they, what are their interests. They really try to understand everything that they know about those users. And then for the users that say no to tracking, they still understand that information, but they just can't see what they do on that website. So by understanding the users that are clicking on the ad and that said yes to tracking, they can predict and see exactly, okay, well, here's a user, for example, that said no to tracking on the website, but this user has all the same interests and same behavior as this other user that said yes to tracking. Well, we can predict that this user is probably also going to behave in a similar way on a website. So that's actually one of the way that they can understand if a user made a purchase or not without even really seeing what's happening on your website. Now, it's a pretty interesting process, but this actually only gives us the answer how many conversions is happening in my campaigns, let's say. But us marketers, we want to know more than that. We want to know how many purchases my campaign sure is generating, but we want to know which audience performs better, which ad is performing better. But sometimes I'll also want to know, are all my purchases happening on the news feed, or is it reels or stories? So we want to know more than that, and that's why they need to look at also impressions and clicks. And remember, they actually have access to that data because that's first party data. The click happens on the Facebook platform, and then the impression, right, that could be also be a video view, is happening on the platform. Facebook looks at the truth data set. And what is the truth data set? Those are all the users that said yes to tracking, and they look and see, okay, well, those users, which ad did they click on, which placement generated a purchase. And by collecting this data, analyzing it, then they can go and predict and see, okay, well, those users that we are missing information based on the gender and the activities, the interests of those users, most likely that's also the ad that generated a purchase for that user that we don't have the data. Or this is the placement that we think generated that purchase, because again, we have that truth data set here. When we predict and analyze the data, it makes most sense that these users also converted because of this and that ad. So that's how they're doing it. It's not perfect. There's definitely lots of room for improvement, but it's honestly getting better and better and better. But again, it's not perfect. So that's why I really recommend that you use another platform to also analyze your data, and don't just use Ads Manager. You can use Google Analytics, you can even use your Google Sheet, or sometimes some companies also do it with Shopify, or right inside your Shopify Analytics. So it really depends on your situation, but really what I want you to take away from this is don't just rely on Ads Manager to make your decision. Go and look at something like Google Analytics and see if potentially Google Analytics tells you a different story. So I'm going to wrap up this video by sharing with you which attribution window I personally use for all our ad accounts. And we don't have one ad account that we actually don't use the attribution window. And the one that we use is the 7-day click, 1-day view. And when I talk to a lot of other marketing gurus, that's probably the one that I hear the most often. I don't really know too many people that use, let's say, only the 1-day click or only the 7-day click. Most people that I know, again, use the 7-day click and 1-day view. And if you're worried and wondering, oh, damn it, is that what I have inside my ad account? By default, when you create a conversion campaign and you're optimizing, let's say, for leads or purchases or really anything that is happening on a website, by default, Facebook will use the 7-day click, 1-day view. So you don't need to freak out or worry and go inside all your ad accounts and check your attribution window, because unless you manually changed it, it is right now set to 7-day click, 1-day view. But guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully this paints you a better picture of all the different attribution windows out there and how does the conversion modeling works. But that is it for this video. Bye now.